today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to be taking a look at the NUX Amp Academy. But before we dive into this really versatile tool and pedal, I want to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, clicking on the notification bell so you know what we're up to. Your interaction with us helps us interact with people like NUX, who we have gotten quite a few things in them from them recently. And today we're going to be looking at the Amp Academy.
Yeah, this is a whole new level for us.
There's a laptop over there.
Right. I think we've done one like kind of cabinet simulator, maybe one direct in kind of pedal, but this is like the first time we've done a pedal that's like, here's your amp sims, here's your cabinet sims, here's your IRs, here's like everything in one. You could plug this in the front of the house and be off and running, I guess. Which is totally out of character because what our friends say, this is not the tone you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and if you miss the amp hum, it's because they're not on.
Right. And so there's a lot of, I think, really good uses for a pedal like this. Just right off the bat, I'm going to say, wow, you've been playing with an acoustic player and you've been going out, maybe taking a small rig to play with them in small places. So you're taking like a little solid state box or something, right? Like you're not pulling a tube amp. You can plug that right into the PA he's using and get really good tones from it. If we did a live stream and we wanted to have some guitars on the live stream, something like this would be really good for that. There's a phrase looper in here we'll talk about later, really good for just like kind of practicing and
getting some ideas down
or just directly recording the computer. I had headphones on when I was trying to figure it out, and I was sitting down here like, this is really like, I'm sitting down here with like good amp sounds and no amp turned on. And so, or you can put it on the end of a pedal board and run it in the front of the house, you know, if you're playing live. So this video, we want to give you some kind of insight into how it works. And we're really just kind of poking around in it. And I mean, I think it's always possible we could come back and do deeper dives on certain aspects. But essentially, you have two channels.
A and B.
And then you have three scenes for each channel.
Over here. I
think in order to do this right, you have to plug it into the computer.
To be able to really see what you're doing. Because I played with this a little bit without the interface, and it was a little flying blind a little bit.
Right.
So to make it worthwhile.
So NUX sends an insert cable that allows you to plug a pedal into the effects loop, which we have their tape echo plugged in right now. We'll show you that later. And then they don't send you a mini USB cable, the USB-C cable. So Amazon Basic's like $8, and I got one that's like USB-C to just regular USB, where you can get, like right now we have the power cable from my Mac, which is USB to USB-C, both plugged in. So anyway, where to start? Let's just start setting it up.
Yeah.
So we're going to go on channel A, and I'm going to pull up the Amp Academy here. And so on the Amp Academy, we can see we're on channel A. If I click over here, channel A, I have a bunch of different amps. Twin Reverb, Super Reverb, Vibro King, Maz Z38, Cali Crunch, British Blues. This is kind of maybe our clean channel side. And we talked, I'm a big fan of the Super. So I'm going to click on the Super. And I'm just going to click, we'll talk about what those things are in a second. If you just want to give it a play.
PRS Silver Sky SE through none of that.
So we could come down here and click on this, and I don't know that you're going to see all of that, but they give you 12 different cabinet IRs, I guess. And right now it's on the Fender Super, but just for fun, if Pat plays a little bit, I'll click a couple different ones.
All right.
And it's cool that you actually hear the difference in sound between them. And if you read them, you can kind of figure out like the FND-SREV, Fender Super Reverb. I also like down here at the bottom that it gives you kind of this like frequency response graph and you can see how each cabinet's changing the the response of the individual. It's pretty cool.
And the thing also, I'm jumping into something we weren't talking about, but if you look at the controls, once you're in the amp, you've got the gain, the master bass, middle, treble, bright switch, bias. You've got the full face control of whatever amp you've selected. You can
right. So we can turn them down here, and if you turn them down here, they move. Like if I grab the gain and I start moving it down here, it moves on the Amp Academy. It's pretty cool. Let's talk about, so that's like, we picked the Fender Super Reverb, put a Fender cabinet on it. Let's talk about, and I'm not going to play much with gain and master. You get the idea, more gain, it's going to get a little more dirty. Master brings up the volume. Bass, middle, and treble, you get the idea. There's a bright switch on it. Bias is probably trying to help you get some of that tube sag out of it to make it sound emulate a tube amp a little bit more, would be my guess. Let's talk about this row up here. So we have some options. This first one, NR, is a noise gate. So you can turn a noise gate on and off. With a Fender Super Reverb selected, I don't think that's really important, but if we got into like the metal...
Channel B, we may show that. Channel B, a more aggressive bank of amps, in my opinion.
If we go to effects, we can put on a Ross compressor, a Katana compressor, or a K compressor, which that's not a Katana, that's Keeley compressor probably. Katana is probably the Keeley boost. RC boost, AC boost, tube screamer, morning drive. I'm thinking like Josh's Morning Glory pedal. Red Dirt, Keeley again, and Crunch. I'm not sure who they're modeling that after. So we can pick a bunch of different effects there, turn those on and off. IR is your IR that we picked. You even can go in and add a 6-band EQ. So if you want to dial in some of that a little bit more, maybe not so much on a Fender Super, but again, if you get in some of the high gain amps, maybe you like to do that. Send and return for your effects loop, so you can dial that in and you can really push that. And then reverb. So let's start with reverb.
Yeah.
So we're on scene 1, Fender Super, gotta add a reverb. I'll just turn it on. So then we can play with the level of decay, but we could also go in and switch that from room, hall, plate, spring. I think where it was, a nice spring reverb on the first one is good. I like this as our scene. Fender Super Reverb, some reverb on it. I'm going to hit this button up here at the top. This is the save button. And when I do, you'll see the light blink on the NUX. We just saved that. Let's go to scene 2. Turn the reverb. We still got the same Fender Super Reverb and everything. Turn the reverb on. But let's go in and change that to, you want hall or plate?
Let's go hall. We can...
Hall. And let's kind of boost that up if you want to play a little bit. Maybe exaggerated a little bit.
Yeah.
But there we go. We got the hall. And we're going to hit save. And then let's jump to scene 3. And reverb. What's reverb? There's a spring reverb on. We can leave that on. And then for the effects, what do you want? Tube screamer?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, try that. Cool. So again,
3. Did you save that one? Did I save that one as 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we can just bounce, and we can bounce through those. If I hit this again. Cool. So
that's only half.
Channel B. Let's set something up. You can have a brown Fireman. I'm thinking of Friedman.
Maybe.
A brown British 800. A red dual rectifier, red Slowdono 100. Iridium Uber, or the Iridium Dive VH4. What would you like?
I don't know. Let's go with a slow 100. I mean, it's good enough for Clapton, right?
Does Clapton play a Slowdono?
He did for a brief time in the 80s, yeah.
And Warren plays one. All right, Slowdono. Let's make sure. Let's try some stuff.
Brody will fact check me on that if it's not right.
Yes. All right, here we go. So, a lot of finger noise on this. Mm-hmm. If you turn the noise gate on, maybe not so much.
Yeah, quiets it down.
We could put an effect in front of it. Like, we could add... what if we added, like, an AC boost?
Make it one louder. Very throaty.
Yeah. So anyway, Slowdono in one. What would you want me to do to it? Anything?
I think it's fine. Just was that dry?
Yeah, it's dry.
A little reverb, just but like maybe like a slap, like a because something heavy like this. Maybe you're gonna do like a hook or something. That'd be great for hooks.
All right, so we'll save that.
That was one.
And then what do we want to do to it? Or did we want to leave that overdrive pedal on? Try it again. Let's save it like that, and then we could put some kind of drive pedal on it. What do you want to do? Tube Screamer.
Red Dirt probably super nasty.
Try that. Let me turn level down just a little bit. And before you yell at us, it is worth noting that the only thing that we can hear right now is what's coming out of the studio monitors over on the desk that are facing that way. So we're not really getting a real... We're kind of flying by the seat of our pants a little bit.
Which is almost like playing an amp on stage. It might not be right in front of you. But yeah, so you got looking at a computer here, looking at a Scarlett interface over there to make sure we're not peaking.
Right. Anything else? And so, okay, so yeah, there are other things. Let's save that. We'll save and be done kind of with that. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that you can do, right? So we're going out the XLR over to a Focusrite interface. Word of warning, I'll say it because nobody said it. There on the Focusrite I have, if you go into the software for it, you can turn a pad on because what comes out of this pedal is super hot. And so I had the gain all the way off and it was still blowing everything out. Couldn't figure it out, and then I called a friend who's like, you should try turning the pad on. No. So then I had to find the software, go in and do that. And that really helped out. Still have the gain way down on it. It's really easy to blow it out because this is a hot signal coming out. You can also go right out of the USB cable into the computer and record that way. So you can open that up in like GarageBand or something and record with it that way. Or I think you can go out of the 1/4 inch. And so you can go, we could have had the 1/4 inch coming out playing through an amp and turned off the IRs, so you wouldn't have the speaker simulation cabinet speaker, or you could have left them on and maybe run that out of that into like the power amp of something. And, you know, so there's all kinds of options here.
Right.
Some of them I feel like are floating right above our heads. So like, who's this for? If you're like a novice at this stuff like we are, this is probably more for you than if you're like been playing through Line 6 stuff live for the last 3 years and
right.
know all of this stuff. Maybe this video's not for you, right? But I mean, you get to see what's going on. Should we show them the phrase looper?
Yeah.
Let's do that real quick. I'll do that.
Yeah, you should.
Real quick. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's not going to be... I'm going to go back to side A.
The sane side.
Okay.
PRS McCarty. Humbuckers.
So if I come back to the Amp Academy, thank you, and I click on this button up here, it opens this wonderful little guy. And so we can control the drum volume, bass, middle, and treble. Drums sound like this. Which is just a blues shuffle thing. And what I thought was really cool, it's, you know, here's your loop level. I'm going to turn the loop up a little bit. It's really easy. If I just hit space bar, it goes into like a waiting period. And when I hit that first note, it like starts to record. So watch. I'm going to start the drums and hit space bar. Get the idea.
I couldn't resist turning on the tape.
Right. Well, and then we showed that. So
right, there you go.
In the effects loop is the tape echo, which is really great because you wouldn't be able to run out of an XR into your echo. You want that after your amp, but before your speakers. So they actually let you do that. And then I read somewhere that you can maybe decide, you can pick and move that around. So I guess we could...
signal chain order. Yeah.
Right. So we could move signal chain around. So we could pull the echo up. Wow. We could pull the echo up in front of the drive. I wonder what that... I think I'd probably keep it.
Right.
Yeah, keep it down there.
As God intended it.
Right. So, that's kind of our first look.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll come back and we'll talk to you a little bit more later about when we dive into it. Maybe if you get it set up where you actually use it live a couple times, we'll come back and like show them how you have it set up. Really, really cool. I honestly thought I would 100% hate this.
That is true.
Like, wanted nothing to do with it. I am blown away by how it, like, I'm surprised at how it sounds. Mm-hmm. Like, it sounds good. Now, I don't think there's any substitute for the way your tube reacts to your guitar in a live situation. But man, like, even for me, who would, like, never want to gig without a tube amp, that would be really nice. I used to carry two tube amps every gig. Mm-hmm. And I'd leave one in the car and take the one in I wasn't playing just in case it went down.
Right.
That could fit in my gig bag and in a pinch, you know, you could be happy. You could be really happy with the tone you're getting.
Yeah, and you can put anything you want in the insert cable too. You can add effects that aren't part of the suite, if you will, like what we did today.
And you could put stuff in front of it. So we could put something in front of it as well. So anyway, anything else to add?
So our first look at it, I mean, I'm anxious to try it and see how it goes. I've just never liked the sound of a pedal that comes directly out of a speaker, but you know, with the IRs and everything that's in there,
I've never liked like a solid state amp,
right?
And I feel like that sounds better than any solid state amp I've ever plugged into.
No, I'm anxious. I feel like you'll have a hopefully happy report from me, just like you just had one from Jason being like, I really no offense to NUX, expected to hate it,
right?
But here we are.
So
sounds great.
Once again, NUX is knocking it out of the park. I guess with that, like, we always take a moment just to thank you for subscribing, clicking the notification bell, hitting the like button, leaving comments. Anytime you interact with the show, it helps us keep bringing cool stuff like this in to share with you. And we're kind of glad that this has made its way into the, you know, it's cool. So with that, I guess.
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear, even if you trap a bunch of amps inside a box. Thank you.